Good morning. I think it just passed into afternoon. The chapel portion of today's program will consist of statements by the two school prefects, followed by a recital of a madrigal by Claudio Monteverde. Let me introduce Reed Allen.
When a friend asked me what I was going to say for my graduation speech, I told him I didn't know. I had no idea what I could say to you that would be meaningful or something you would remember. That friend said, "It doesn't matter what you say, just as long as it sounds good." I've thought a lot about what I can say, which led me to think of what the purpose of my speaking was. I asked myself if, first of all, it mattered if what I said sounded cliche and repetitive, if it was from the heart. But most importantly, for whom am I speaking here today? I think that it is nice that everyone could be here, but I don't think I'm speaking for you. I think I'm speaking for the people behind me. It is a chance for me personally to say goodbye to my classmates in my school, but above all, I hope to convey some of our memories and thoughts as a class through my own perception. So I am here to say goodbye for them. First of all, we say thank you to the supportive parents who bravely drove out of that driveway knowing that they were leaving their child behind to a school that had seemingly time warped from 100 years ago. But if you look in front of you today, you can see that you made a wise decision. Midland is not an easy community to live in. We bicker like siblings as a daily ritual and become quite aware of each other's faults. I wouldn't have it any other way, though, because when a class learns to live and work together, a bond is formed between types of people that probably wouldn't even interact in a public high school. We learn firsthand that a person's character cannot be judged according to length of hair, or beards for that matter, or for the tightness or the lack of clothing. We are mixed into a melting pot of different philosophies and cultures, and though we may not agree with each other, we respect one another just for maintaining individuality. I think that this is the only thing I can say we all learned a bit of, because experiences here can be so different. But what will we miss? Above all, I would have to say that I will miss how comfortable I am with this school. I'll miss the ability to take part in a water fight, for instance, and be reduced to a simple-minded 9-year-old, fighting, splashing, and making a general idiot out of myself without the least of social consequences. To name everything that we will remember when we think back on Midland would simply lengthen my speech and thus waste trees, and postpone our hour of glory, but perhaps that's what should be done. Perhaps I should take one last moment as a student of Midland School and reminisce. Let's see. Good times. Field day. Watching as Jason Flannery came crashing down during the dizzy bat relay, or the sophomore boys upsetting the juniors in the tug-of-war. I suppose I could say I'll almost miss the Cormans asking if they can ring the ding-a-ling every single day, and asking me for tips for when they become head prefect. I'll miss teachers. The Herricks, who were mother and father to our class throughout my 4 years, and Eric Niles for long late-night talks. The Cummings and our trip to Guatemala, and Mr. Lauer, the wandering holy man of the school. Of course, I'll miss Mr. Conklin all our long, drawn-out meetings. I'll miss camping trips and watching Grass Mountain bathing in an orange fiery glow as the sun drops below the horizon. I'll miss my junior prefectees and their good humor, especially Colin for his insight and fiery temperance. I won't miss parades of girls through the upper yard at 5 in the morning on April Fools, and I won't miss graveyard. But this school has given me so many good memories and so many bad that only sweeten the good, that it would be a lie if I were to say I won't think of this place often in the years to come. I don't mean to be a sentimental jerk, but look around you, seniors. Take this all in. Take in the dust and the breeze. Take in Grass Mountain and all these people around you, because in your memories and when you return in the future as alumni, it will not be the same. Now that finals are over and my speech coming to a close, I hope I can slow down in the rush to leave and sit down once more on the hillside overlooking the soccer field and simply look at this place as my home before I give it away to the upcoming generations. We don't have to say goodbye quite yet, but the time will come. Remember freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year for everything that each one taught you, and cherish the warm embraces of friends here before you go your separate ways. Goodbye, Maya. Goodbye, Jamie. Goodbye, Sarah Niven. Goodbye, Elliot. Goodbye, Adam. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye, Marlo. Goodbye, Kevin. Goodbye, Albert. Goodbye, Sarah Cabello. Goodbye, Jackie. Goodbye, Sky. Goodbye, Christine. Goodbye, Holly. Goodbye, Lindsay. Goodbye, Ed. Goodbye, Lauren. Goodbye, Genevieve. Goodbye, Midland.
Next, Maya Joachim Johansson.
Hello, everyone. Somewhere in the middle of last January, we had a warm spell, and inspired by the sun and the greenness everywhere, I decided to take my all-important prefect day off to wander in the hills alone. I equipped my old backpack with a few necessities: my English book, my journal, and a book of poetry for inspiration. This is one thing I did not lack that day. I walked up Varsity Hill, along Sunset Ridge, and up onto the bowl. As I'm sure many of you know, from this place it's possible to see all of Midland laid out in front of you, along with much of the Alamo Pintado and, as always, Grass Mountain. Right then, I could clearly remember the first time I took in that view. It was a 90-degree afternoon, the September of my freshman year, and I was running, or rather walking at that point, cross country. I looked then over those bare, dry hills, and I felt very small and lost. I thought that the bowl was the 9th level of hell, come straight from Dante's pen just for me. I knew it was not humanly possible for anyone to actually run up those steep grades, and that thought comforted me. In that distant September, I had a very solitary moment with mountains and riverbeds that would soon mean home to me. I then continued on my way down behind the Lowers house and out to the soccer field, and there I found the rest of the team gorging themselves on ripe melon. As I approached, someone handed me a piece and said, "Good job, it's hot." I dove into the fruit, the juice bathing my face and producing a grin. Soon I was playing and laughing like the rest, sliming my teammates with cold rinds, people I had barely known for a few weeks, and who would, over the years, become the dearest people in my world. Right then, I learned to enjoy things as real and as perfect as cold melon. On that January day, I walked and thought and smelled and tasted all that spring at Midland is. At one point, I stopped and wrote the following. I rejoice in the few hours of spring that the winter taunts me with each day, letting me forget the hard frost of this morning. There is a hammering inside me, of fists wanting to break free and immerse themselves in this single spectrum afternoon. Those fists I felt that day are a force that we all have, but it was here, on solitary walks like these, that I first began to hear them. Since my first excursion on the bowl, I have returned there countless times since. In fact, I have probably walked over much of the land I saw that day. That land that seemed so stark and alienating. In these hills, I have had the kind of talks that don't start happening until your third night of camping, and I have found friendships that last through 5 days with nothing but creek water to bathe in. In January, the sight of these hills washed me with an intense feeling of comfort. I could barely tell where my own skin ended and the rest of the world began. I tried to figure out just exactly what it means to be a Midland student, and the only thing I could settle on was this. As Midland students, we have grown so comfortable with the wildness all around us that we are able to cast off an extra layer of protection that insulates people from nature and people from each other, because here it's just not necessary. I've reached farther than I ever thought possible, and I've watched the people around me reach too. I've learned that not only is it humanly possible to run the entire bowl, but that I am one of those humans, and that is a priceless realization. Next year, I'm going off to Massachusetts for college, and I'm quite certain that one thing I won't be doing next January is roaming the green hills in a t-shirt. I know that in leaving here, I relinquish my hold on many great things. I will never again be able to climb Grass Mountain with the same conviction that it belongs to me, because there will be a whole new herd of Midland kids here next year to replace me. I know that I can come back and walk through campus and reminisce, but I will never again be essential to this place. But I also know that this is okay, because the most important thing is not what we've done for Midland, but what Midland has done for us. We all came in as clueless freshmen, and over the last 4 years, we've developed into clueless seniors. But now at least we know how clueless we are, and how much there is out there for us to investigate. Our interest has been whetted. From here, all this world ahead of me seems quite daunting. But the faces you see up here today, both of my classmates and my teachers, are what have pulled me through the last 4 years. And I'm equipped with my adventures into adulthood by all that they have taught me.